What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Foxbody Junkie YouTube channel. I'm Brandon, and today we're working on our 86 GT T-Top project car. So where I left off, I had the engine bay painted and I started getting all the suspension and everything put in there. And I kind of haven't filmed a whole lot. I've just been trying to job out and get stuff done. So I went ahead and got all of the wiring harnesses cleaned up for the ECM harness, and then the headlight harness, and goes over to the starter solenoid and the coil and all that stuff. And then I actually went ahead and I got the dash pulled out. And today I'm going to be working on getting some new foam cut for the firewall and where the heater core tubes come out of the firewall. Yeah, we're just going to try to get that heater box put back in there and just try to get as far as we can get. I'd like to get the dash and the wiring and everything put back inside of the car by the end of this video. We'll see if we can do that. If not, it'll be kind of just like a progress update on it. And so without further ado, I'll go ahead and turn the camera around and show you guys what I'm doing. All right, not that. All right, so this is kind of where we're at now. Like I said, I went ahead and started off. I got the ECM harness all cleaned up. That is the plug for the O2 sensors, and then the it wraps around and it stops over here behind the driver's side shock tower. Those are connectors for the engine harness, distributor TFI module, and then we got all that cleaned up and routed somewhat decently. Got the wiper fluid reservoir put in place. Yeah, just kind of routed it up. I put it kind of up under the radiator support and then back over here. And then we went ahead and got our 3G alternator plug put on here. So this is actually a plug off of a 94 to 98 V6 car. I went ahead and wired in that plug. That way, if anything ever happens to the plug on the alternator, you don't have to cut and splice any more wires. So, and you can unplug it with no issue. And then these will go onto the alternator as well. So we got the 3G alternator stuff all set up for the most part. I do still need to run a 4-gauge wire back to the starter solenoid for that, but we'll do that once the engine's in the car. So like I said, I did go ahead and get the dash pulled out of it. Oh, you guys can see dash is now out of the car. Heater box is just sitting there. That's what we're going to be working on today. I'm going to go ahead and get some new foam cut for it, and we'll get that put back in place. So once I go ahead and get some foam cut for it, I'll kind of show you guys a little bit of that process. I did touch basis on it when I did the yellow coupe. However, I'll touch base a little bit on it again and just kind of show you guys what I do. So let's get that done. All right, so I told you guys I'd show you a little bit on how I make a new foam panel for the firewall for the heater core pad. So this is the original one that came off of the car. My camera will focus. There you go. So this is the original one. What I do is I just take the part that protrudes out and I just cut it off with a razor blade pretty much flat, and then I'll overlay a new piece of foam on there and then just drill the holes for that, and then just cut it to shape. Pretty simple. And then just drill the hole for the vacuum connection for the HVAC stuff. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and I'll put it in the car, and then you guys can kind of see what it looks like on the firewall. We did go ahead and paint the bottom foam piece back black, like I said we were gonna do. That way you don't have any overspray on any of that stuff. So, and then we went ahead and painted our studs that pop out of the firewall back black as well, so those will look good when they're in the car. Went ahead and just did a quick little detail on the HVAC box, wiped it off, and cleaned all the loose dirt and stuff off of it. So should be ready to go back in the car. We're gonna go ahead and put it back in, and I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's in there. All right, so we went ahead, we got the HVAC box put back in. You can see now how much better that looks with a new foam insulator pad back there. Got the line ran out for the little vacuum T that goes right here on the firewall, and then I got the bolt that goes on there. We got that grommet painted black. That looks way better. And so we just need to go ahead and put these, the big nuts on there. Gotta get the nuts. So, but yeah, that looks a ton better. Went ahead and got the grommet installed down there for the steering shaft. And again, no overspray on any of that stuff anymore. So that looks a ton better. You know, that's kind of one thing that, I don't know, I just see in the, when I see a lot of the engine bays get painted on these cars, a lot of times there's just overspray on those foam pieces. And if you're going to keep them in the car, you don't plan on taking them off, just try to tape them up the best that you can. I know sometimes it's a pain in the butt because tape doesn't like to stick to that old foam, but I guess you could always take it out and paint it in the future. But yeah, that just looks a ton better. Now we don't have anything poking out of the firewall. There's no AC connections with vacuum caps on them. So I think that looks a lot better, like I said. And I don't want to harp on that too much more, so I'll show you what the inside of the car looks like. It looks like a heater box, but I'll show you guys. So inside of the car, we got the heater box put back in, got all the connections ran, pretty much everything plugged in. I got the ECU bolted in place, the ground bolted in, and yeah, just everything hooked up over here that wasn't there anymore. I think we're gonna get lucky and be able to use our original dash harness, which I wasn't sure about. But I think we're going to be able to use it. They didn't cut anything on the dash harness that I can't fix, at least, so I didn't notice anything, but we'll know for sure once we start swapping the harness over that new dash. So another thing that I did, I don't know if I touched much on it, but this is the original pedal assembly that was in the car. The car is a true 5-speed car. You can kind of see the hump here. So it is a true 5-speed car. When they did the automatic in the car, they just took the original clutch pedal off of it and left the stock skinny brake pedal in there. So I went ahead and I actually had a spare clutch pedal, went ahead and got the clutch pedal put back on there, and they removed all of the factory clutch quadrant stuff. Now I know a lot of you guys are probably going to harp on this. Oh, you need to get an adjustable quadrant and a billet quadrant and da 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 da. Yes, they're great. I've used them a bunch, but also the stock stuff works too. As long as you have a stock cable and a good clutch, there's really nothing wrong with the stock style stuff. So don't let anybody tell you that you absolutely need it, because it's not always the case. So with that being said, we went ahead and got I had to swap out this gas pedal, because the original one that was in there was for some reason bent up pretty good, and the actual pedal was like zip tied to the thing, so the pin that sits down here on the bottom was all messed up. We got that all swapped out. There's a lot of just little stuff. It seemed like everything I touched in here, I had to do some sort of work on it in some form of fashion. So I know this stuff doesn't look perfect, but again, guys, we're not trying to restore this thing. I really want to just get it back on the road and be able to let somebody enjoy it. You know, it's got a brand new heater core in there, so they shouldn't have any issues with that. And you know, just make sure everything works. So if somebody wants to pull it all back apart and paint the pedal assembly and, you know, do all that stuff, then, you know, they're more than welcome to it. So, but not gonna happen for me. So that is kind of currently where we're at with it. Next step moving forward, I need to go ahead and get the dash taken, or I need to get the dash put together and get the harness swapped over. And yeah, I'll show you guys the throttle, the pedal real quick here. So they had it zip tied, which I guess it works, but I just don't like shit like that. And I can see it's bent right there. I don't know how bad, because obviously it was in the car and probably working, but it does look like it's got a bend right here. So swap that out for another good one that I had. And yeah, so everything's kind of coming together here. Really happy with how everything looks so far. All right, y'all, so we went ahead, we actually got the dash put in. I did not film any of it, but I am going to show you guys what it looks like. For the most part, everything went pretty smooth. They do fight you a little bit, just how they go. These 4i dashes are really brittle on the top, and it's just be careful. It's best to have a buddy or somebody kind of help you out whenever you're installing these. I want to say this dash is not in perfect condition. There are some scrapes and stuff like that, but this is not the car that I'm trying to restore. I really just want to get it put back together and get it roadworthy again, something that somebody can enjoy. I do plan on selling the car, but you know, that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm not going to put a bunch of time and effort and money into it. I just want to get it where it's safe and somebody can enjoy it, and then they can go ahead and do some upgrades in the future. You know, maybe do a light interior restoration, something for somebody else to do. You know, a lot of us like to tinker, and if there's nothing really to tinker on, then, you know, you can't tinker. So without further ado, I'm going to quit rambling and show you guys what the dash looks like. So from the driver's seat here, this is what the dash looks like. I am going to replace the steering wheel. I'm probably going to put like a Momo or something like that in the car. Reason being, I do not have an 86 horn button pad. And this one is a little it's not in too bad a condition, but we did delete the cruise. So I don't want to have the cruise buttons there and not have any cruise. And to be honest, this is one of my least favorite wheels that they made. So aside from that, we did get everything kind of hooked back up. We talked about the clutch pedals and the gas pedal, so got all that where it needs to go. All of this is for the transmission side of the harness. That little plug down there will go on the side of the transmission tunnel over here. Got the bottom panel all put in. I need to get either a radio delete plate or put like an aftermarket stereo in there. These three connections here are for the center console. Those in there are going to go to the radio. We did actually delete the rear defrost off of this car. Two reasons: the connection on the actual HVAC selector was broken, and also the wire was cut a long time ago that goes into the engine bay, and I did not get that with the replacement harness that I bought. So unfortunately, it's not going to have rear defrost. However, I am going to put the selector in the glove box. That way, if somebody finds the cable that runs from the firewall to the main harness and back in, they can go ahead and put it in there. That'll be the only thing that's really missing. So aside from that, the dash is in really pretty good shape for its age. Don't get me wrong. It's just got a couple little light scuffs on the corners and stuff like that. You know, a little bit right here just from being moved around once it was taken out of the car. But overall, it's really not in bad condition. We do need to get the dash pad put in, but overall not too bad. I do have the original gray carpet. Everything's going to be swapped back over to gray. I got the gray seat belts, all of that. So this was original red car with red interior. It's been a red car with black interior. Now it's going to be a red car with gray interior. So it'll be its third interior. But I think hopefully this one should be there to stay. So another thing I did was I got the hood latch cable put in. You guys won't see. Boop. So got that put in. And one thing I want to harp on is this. I am pulling with all of my might, and this hood is not coming up. Well, for all the guys that always say, oh, you need hood pins on a fiberglass hood. No, you need the damn safety catch. I'm not going to argue and say that hood pins aren't a good safety item. Yes, but 9 times out of 10, the guys that have hoods fly up and bust their cowl all the shit and their glass gets broken, they don't have a safety catch on. And if they do, it's not adjusted properly. Your safety catch, when you lift up on the hood, that hook right here should be up under your latch. So when that hood, if it does fly up, because sometimes these latches, they don't hold these hoods as tight as the factory does. If that hood does decide to let go, that latch is going to be stuck up under this metal latch part that bolts to your upper radiator support. And that hood's not going to fly up. One could make the argue that yes, if you're going super fast, there's a lot of pressure, it could potentially rip the hood off of this safety catch. But wouldn't you rather have that there than not have it there? That's just me. That's my little rant. Put the safety catch latch on there. I've had so many Cal hoods. All of them have had a safety catch. None of them have had hood pins. The only car I did hood pins on was my Sonic Blue Cobra that I did the tubular front end, and that's because it doesn't have the factory latch assembly on it. So with that being said, little rant over. I got the clutch cable installed. It's hooked up on the pedal. I went ahead and got the steering shaft installed, steering column installed. I got the speedometer cable put in there. I got the throttle cable put in there and cleaned up. It cleaned up all pretty nice. Yeah, we're pretty much, I mean, oh, I got the nuts for the heater box put on. And that's pretty much it for the engine bay. So we're actually working away on getting the engine ready now. So stay tuned for that in the next video. If you're still with me here on this saga of the video, this ending, I appreciate it. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who comments. I really appreciate you guys who watch the video and comment and are interactive with the channel. It's awesome. You know, I've met a bunch of cool people through this things, which I never thought I would. So I appreciate that. And thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.